Hello. This is the Bible History School. This is the 7th session of Revelation and World History. Last time, we looked at the history that most closely resembles the explanation of the seven-headed beast that appears in the Revelation. It was the history of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was established in December 1922 under Stalin's leadership. On December 25, 1991, it disappeared into the back alleys of history. When Soviet President Gorbachev declared the dissolution of the Soviet Union, it lasted exactly 70 years. During that 70-year period, the number of people with the highest power who ruled the Soviet Union was 7. It was exactly the same as the contents of the prophecy that mentioned the seven-headed beast. This alone is a very surprising fact, but there is still one more task left for this content to become the correct answer for the fulfillment of the prophecy. It will become more certain when the identity of the 10 horns that appear with the seven-headed beast is revealed. This time, we will look for a clue to the identity of the 10 horns. Chapter 1, Section 10. 10 horns. The beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. Let's look at Revelation chapter 17, verse 16 again. The 10 horns that you saw, and the beast hated the prostitute and destroyed her. It says that the 10 horns destroyed the beast nation. The text also explains that these 10 horns are 10 kings. Let's look at Revelation chapter 17. The 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who will receive authority as kings for a time with the beast. They have one mind and give their power and authority to the beast. Revelation chapter 17, verses 12 to 13. When we say 10 kings, we can mean 10 kings who arise in one country. In other words, they are the ones who succeed to the throne of one country. However, when 10 people exist at the same time, it means that 10 countries exist. For example, the 10 horns that arise from the fourth beast in the book of Daniel could mean 10 kings who ascend to the throne sequentially in the fourth country. The book of Revelation and the book of Daniel use similar symbolic terms, but their meanings are slightly different. It is necessary to understand the context accurately by comparing the texts. Let's look at the words of Daniel chapter 7. Thus says the one who was present, the fourth beast will be a fourth kingdom on earth, which will be different from all the other kingdoms, and it will devour the whole earth, trample it down and crush it. The 10 horns are 10 kings who will arise from that kingdom. After them another will arise, who will be different from the first ones, and will subdue 3 kings. Daniel 7, 23-24. The 10 horns that appear in the book of Daniel mean 10 kings who ascend to the throne sequentially in one country. Unlike the book of Daniel, the 10 horns in the book of Revelation represent 10 kingdoms. This can be seen in the phrase has not yet received a kingdom. The time point of not yet here is the same as the time point mentioned earlier, when it says 5 have fallen and 1 is. That is, the time point when the 6th king is ruling. This is a very important point, that the time point should be applied equally in all explanations of the beast nation. The phrase has not yet received a kingdom until the 6th king has ruled shows that these 10 horns will only receive a kingdom after the beast is destroyed. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, each of the republics that comprised the Soviet Union gained independence. However, the total number of republics that comprised the Soviet Union is 15. Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. There are 15 of them. The Soviet Union was formed by these 15 republics. So in the text, the 10 horns gain a country should mean 10 republics gain new countries. but the number of republics was 15. If so, the prophecy in the text does not match the actual history. So it can be said that it is not an exact fulfillment of the prophecy. However, if we look a little closer at history, we can find the secret key. In March 1990, the three Baltic countries of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania declared independence. The three Baltic states had gathered on August 23, 1989. The 50th anniversary of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which handed over rights to the region to the Soviet Union, to show the world their desire for independence. They held the Baltic Way protest, a human chain of 600 kilometers, the longest in history. In August 1991, after the failure of the three-day Soviet coup, the independence of the three Baltic states became a fait accompli, and countries around the world recognized it one after another. On September 2, the Soviet authorities finally recognized the independence of the three Baltic states, making them independent states. These three states also passed the UN membership application at the 46th UN General Assembly, held on September 17, 1991, and became UN members. In other words, these three nations were not present when the dissolution of the Soviet Union was declared, even if these three countries are subtracted from the number of the 10 horns. The number of the remaining republics is 12. So the numbers do not match the 10 horns. So are the numbers presented in the text just symbolic numbers that do not match exactly? No. The Commonwealth of Independent States was created when the Soviet Union collapsed. However, the Republic of Georgia did not participate when the CIS was launched. Even so, the number of countries participating in the Commonwealth of Independent States is still 11. And it is one number different from the 10 horns. The secret is right here. Yet to obtain a country. The expression yet to obtain a country means that they will obtain a new country after the destruction of the beast nation. That is, they will become newly independent countries. In fact, all of these countries have a history filled with numerous invasions by foreign powers and rule by empires. For example, in the case of the Turkmen region, it was conquered by Persia in the 6th to 4th centuries BC, by Arabs in the 7th to 8th centuries, and by the Mongols in the 13th century. In the 16th century, it became part of the Khiva and Bukhara Khanates. And some were ruled by Iranians. The Turkmen people spoke a Turkic language and lived a nomadic life. And in the late 19th century, they were conquered by Russia. When Russia advanced into Turkmenia and were incorporated into the Soviet Union, they finally acquired the status of an independent nation when they joined the Commonwealth of Independent States, due to the dissolution of the Soviet Union. In the case of Ukraine, Ukraine served as a passageway for various ethnic groups from ancient times to the Middle Ages, and was ruled by the Scythians, Sarmatians, Goths, Huns, and Avars. In the 8th to 7th centuries BC, through the Greek colonies established on the northern coast of the Black Sea, it was influenced by Mediterranean civilization. The Russian Khanate was established following the Bosphorus Kingdom, that lasted from the 4th century BC to the 4th century AD. This Russian Khanate achieved the first political unification of East Slavs during the Kievan era, in the 10th to 12th centuries. However, after the Kievan Rus collapsed due to the Mongol conquest in the 13th century, the Gallic Volhynia Principality was established, and lasted from the 13th to the 14th century. After that, Gallic was annexed by Poland and Volhynia by Lithuania. And in 1569, Ukraine came under Polish rule. Ukrainians formed the Ukrainian Kazakh group centered around peasants who had fled from Poland and Lithuania and resisted Poland. In 1648, they started a war of independence, but the Grand Duchy of Moscow, which intervened in this war, agreed to the division of Poland and Ukraine. And in 1667, the right bank of the Dnieper River became Polish territory, and the left bank became Russian territory. After that, an autonomous Kazakh state, called Hetmanshina, was established in Russian Ukraine. In the early 18th century, the Hetman attempted independence, but was defeated by Peter the Great. And after being attacked by Catherine II, the Hetman state system was completely abolished in 1783. After that, Russia named this place Little Russia. After that, it pursued a strong Russification policy, such as introducing the serfdom system. Polish Ukraine became Russian territory, except for Gallic, due to the partition of Poland in the late 18th century. After the Russian Revolution in 1917, Russian Ukraine temporarily became independent, but soon became Sovietized after a fierce civil war, and Ukraine formed the former Soviet Union. Together with the three republics of Russia, Belarus, and Transcaucasia in late 1922. Refer to Pascal World Encyclopedia, Dongsio Cultural Publishing, 1996, Turkmenistan, Ukraine section. In this way, the countries that existed as republics of the Soviet Union, and then joined the Commonwealth of Independent States, did not properly have the appearance of independent states until just before they were incorporated into the Soviet Union. It was only after the dissolution of the Soviet Union that they finally had the appearance of independent states. However, one of the 11 countries that declared the Commonwealth of Independent States after the dissolution of the Soviet Union must be excluded from the 10 Horns. That is, Russia. Russia was an independent country before the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. And since it was also an empire, it is not a newly acquired country, that is, a newly independent country. The text of the Book of Revelation states as follows: "While the beast lives, it has not yet acquired a country. But when the beast dies, the 10 horns will acquire a new country." These 10 countries are precisely the newly acquired independent countries. Since Russia is not a newly independent state, it should be excluded from the number of the 10 horns. The countries that have newly gained a country among the countries that participated in the Commonwealth of Independent States, excluding Russia, are all 10 countries, which exactly matches the number of the 10 horns. When the Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS, was launched on January 1, 1992, Georgia, out of the 12 republics excluding the 3 Baltic states, withdrew due to internal affairs, and only 11 republics were launched. After that, Georgia joined the CIS in 1993, but declared its withdrawal again after the war with Russia in 2008. In addition, Turkmenistan withdrew in August 2005 and is participating as an associate member. So the total number of full members of the Commonwealth of Independent States as of 2009 is 10. To explain this situation again, after the Soviet Union was dissolved, the Baltic states were already excluded, leaving 12 republics. But since Georgia did not join the Commonwealth of Independent States, 11 countries came together to form the Commonwealth of Independent States. Among them, Russia was not a newly independent state, but had been an independent state for a long time, but was temporarily under the control of the Soviet Union. Therefore, after the destruction of the Soviet Union, the beast state, the number of newly acquired countries, that is, the number of newly independent states, was 10. They had one purpose and gave their power and authority to the beast. Revelation chapter 17, verse 13. "The 10 horns that you saw and the beast will hate the prostitute, and will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. The Soviet Union is a union of these republics, and the supreme power of the Soviet Union was commanding all of these republics. Since the Soviets of each republic united to form a federal state, it is said that they gave their power and authority to the beast. In reality, the weak were forcibly merged by the strong. However, in terms of form, these countries united to form a strong country. That is, a federal state with strong power. The 10 horns, that is, the 10 republics, gave authority to the Soviet Union, the beast nation, and the supreme power of the Soviet Union. As a result of this Red Empire that was created in this way, the world trembled in fear of communism. The 10 horns destroyed the beast refers to the situation in which the Soviet Union automatically disappeared when these republics declared that they would become independent countries from the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was able to survive by securing finances through contributions from each republic, and using that to pay the salaries of federal civil servants and soldiers. When each republic declared that they would no longer pay their mandatory contributions to the Federation, and would become independent from the Soviet Union, forming a commonwealth of independent states that had nothing to do with the Soviet Union, the salaries of federal civil servants could no longer be paid, since the soldiers were also automatically incorporated into the armies of their respective republics. The Soviet Union lost the physical power to prevent the independence of the republics, and eventually naturally collapsed. Many scholars have pointed to the European Union as the 10 horns. But this is due to a misreading of the text. The EU is an economic union formed by already independent countries. However, the 10 horns in the book of Revelation refer to new independent countries that will emerge after the beast is destroyed. It is not a phenomenon in which several countries come together to form one country, but a description of a new country that is created when an empire collapses. The 10 horns that appear in the book of Revelation are the opposite of the situation that unfolds in the European Union, where several countries come together to form one economic community. It refers to the phenomenon in which several republics came together to form a federal state, called the Soviet Union. And when these republics declared independence, the Soviet Union collapsed. That is, the Soviet Union, a beast state, was dismantled and these countries acquired the status of independent states. In order to accurately understand and interpret the book of prophecy, we must first begin with an accurate reading of the text. The reason why we must also read the book of Daniel in order to interpret the book of Revelation is because the 10 horns appear in both documents. But the descriptions of these 10 horns are different in each. It is most important to have a correct understanding of the text, and to carefully examine the actual history that occurred. According to what we have seen so far, the 7 heads of the beast are the number of the highest powers of the Soviet Union: Lenin, Stalin, Khrushchev, Brezhnev, Andropov, Chernenko, and Gorbachev. All 7. The reign of Babylon was said to be 70 years. The Soviet Union also lasted exactly 70 years, from its establishment in 1922 until its dissolution in 1991. The 10 horns that destroyed the beast refer to the fact that 11 republics, including Russia, declared independence from the Soviet Union and formed the Commonwealth of Independent States. As a result, the Soviet Union collapsed, became new independent states. Last time, we revealed that the most important entity in the book of Revelation, the 7-headed beast, is the Soviet Union, and this time, we learned about the identity of the 10 horns that appear with the 7-headed beast. We found a history that exactly matches the description of the existence of the beast described in the book of Revelation and the text of the prophecy. 7 powerful men led the Soviet Union for 70 years. And when the Soviet Union collapsed, 10 new countries became independent. It is the Commonwealth of Independent States. This is not a history that was forcibly put together. It is not a collection of events from various eras. It is simply amazing how an empire that exactly matches The description in the prophecy existed in one country in the 20th century. This is not the entire interpretation. This is only the beginning. There are many issues that remain to be verified. We will move forward together, step by step. Please, show much interest and subscribe. This was the Bible History School. Thank you very much for reading to the end.